Salve omnes, salve. This is Marius Glaudius, your host again for this YouTube channel of Latin Language Revival with the third part of the series in the conversations between Jesus of Nazareth and Pontius Pilate. Want to clarify real quick for everyone that this channel, what you will hear, is the spoken classical Latin form, not the ecclesiastical, not the archaic, but the classical. Classical period was the last 2 to 3 centuries of before Common Era, and the first 2 to 3 centuries of Common Era, or modern Common Era, whatever they call it now, Anno Domini AD. There is an ecclesiastical form. My YouTube audience, I know you guys know your stuff, that listen to Latin, that know Latin. Don't confuse it, please. If you only know ecclesiastical, an example would be Julius Caesar's famous words, "Veni, vidi, vici." Veni, vidi, vici. I pronounced it a little bit wrong on the first. It's veni, vidi, vici. That is the classical. The ecclesiastical is veni, vidi, vici. 2 different forms. Also, want to clarify that this is not an evangelistic channel. Whatever information I present having to do with Jesus of Nazareth or anything biblical is simply as a historical reference. That is it. And in this case, this presentation is based off the book of Nicodemus, also known as the Gospel of Pilate, maybe even also Gospel of Nicodemus. It is a historical record that exists. It is non-canonized. That means it's not part of the Holy Bible compilation of Gospels. It is open to debate, of course, as everything else in its veracity. We're not trying to alter the Bible or anything like that. It is just a historical record that exists and very much aligns with a lot of the historical facts presented in the Bible itself. In this presentation, we're going into a little bit more of the personality types and the spoken Latin of some of the words that were exchanged during the persecution or the accusations made against Jesus of Nazareth, also seen in the Gospels of the Bible. However, the book of Nicodemus seems to go into a little more of details and a little bit more explanation written between the lines or in between the verses that exist in the Bible, just giving us a little bit more graphic detail. And that's what I find fascinating. You can slide on or fast forward in the video here to listen to the classical Latin pronunciations. Otherwise, I'm just presenting some of the facts surrounding the time period. Who was Pontius Pilate? Let's just begin with that. He was prefect of the province of Judea. Was he or did he have anything to do with Pilates? Because it's almost spelled the same. No, not at all. Nope. Did he have anything? That's why we're going to strike that one off. Does it have anything to do with being a root word of Pilate as we know it today? Nope, not that either. So, Pilatus actually means javelin thrower or javelin. It could have been something that the family was known for. Either way, he was of the equestrian class, apparently. There's not very many records on Pilate, other than a rock that was found with his name inscribed in it, and some other small evidences that are online. You can find them out, but nothing very, very solid. But he did exist, however. There's very little record that he did, and of course there is the Bible references that do refer to him as well. He was the prefect of Judea, of the province of Judea under Tiberius Caesar. And after the crucifixion of Christ, apparently he was summoned to Rome by Tiberius Caesar for possible misconduct. We don't know, because then the case went away once Tiberius Caesar died, and Caligula, the successor, did away with a lot of the cases as it was customary. If one administration had cases against somebody, usually they'd get cleared out or dismissed, and then the next emperor would come to succeed, and so on and so forth. Whatever happened to him, there's rumor that he had committed suicide. There was also rumor that he became a Christian. There's also rumor that he was exiled or he went into exile. We just don't know whatever happened. There's not very much record. There's hardly anything at all, if there is, explaining any of what may have happened. One of the things that I find fascinating was that his wife is known to have been a Christian, known to have been a follower of Christ in the time period that Christ was in his ministry. And there's some letters out there that I've discovered online. You can look them up yourself too. I'm not going to go into presenting those. It would just we'd get out into the weeds too much. In which it references or letters that she wrote describing Jesus of Nazareth in a little more physical detail. His arrival to Capernaum, if I'm not mistaken, when he deboarded a boat off of the Sea of Galilee. Again, if I'm not mistaken, I remember I had read them. I don't remember all the details. The only thing I really do remember is that she does go into a little more detail of the personality and appearance of Jesus of Nazareth. Very fascinating stuff. It is referenced also in the Bible that she had told Pontius Pilate of a dream that she had, basically telling or warning Pontius Pilate not to have anything with the condemnation of Jesus of Nazareth because of a dream that had come to her, to which the Jewish clergy or leadership said that accused Christ of sending that dream to her in his demonic powers, as they considered Christ being of dark powers or demonic powers. So those are some interesting side facts on Pontius Pilate, his wife, and the relationship with Jesus of Nazareth. On the last video, we went over the charges that Christ answered to from the leadership of the Jewish order, like from Joseph, Caiaphas, and the leadership with him. We left off when he had said to them, and I quote this, "Nihil dixissent nisi potentes, omnibus eadem licet turpitudinem et virtutis oribus locuuntur, eos idem testificaturus sunt." I made a small mistake with virtutis. I said virtutis. It's virtutis. What does that translate to? What does that mean? What did he say in that short saying? Well, he says, unless they had the power, they would say nothing. For everyone has the power of his own mouth to speak good and evil. They shall see to it. Well, this pissed off the Jewish elders. They said, what? What shall we see? First, that thou wast born out of fornication? Secondly, that thy birth in Bethlehem was the cause of the murder of infants? Thirdly, that thy father Joseph and thy mother Mary fled into Egypt because they had no confidence in the people? This is quoted off the book of Nicodemus in chapter 2. So they got really pissed off when he said that, and that's when they said these words, accusing him and what they truly felt. They thought he was a complete heretic and a demonic force. So that pissed him off. And we know that famous words from Pontius Pilate. What is truth? Well, let's see what led up to that real quick. He asks Jesus of Nazareth, Tu es rex Judaeorum? Are you the king of the Jews? He says, Christ answers, A te me tipso octikis, an aliidic seruntibi de me? He says here, is this something that you say, or is that something that somebody else has told you about me? And very interestingly enough, because it was not very known that in the Latin language you would say yes or no to a question. It was always like a roundabout answer. It was very interesting how they would respond. So in this case, Pontius Pilate responds with, Num quide yo Judaeus sum. And what that means is, am I a Jew? Basically saying, the Jews are saying this, but am I a Jew? Denying it. That's basically him saying no. gente tua et pontifices tradiderunt te mihi, quod ficisti. So the leadership brought you to me. What have you done? Tu dicis quia rex sum eo in hoc natus sum, et ac hoc veni in mundum, ut testimonium per ibeam veritati. Omnis qui est ex veritate audit vocem meam. And this is in the biblical scripture of John. I'm trying to think 8:13, I believe, or chapter 8, in which he says that he is here to speak the truth. He came here to this world as to testify the truth, and anybody who is of truth will listen to his voice. And this is where Pontius Pilate says, "Quid est veritas?" What is truth? Christ says, and this is in the book of Nicodemus, because it does not get into this in the Bible. However, it kind of skips out of the answer, so y'all can look that up in the book of John. And Christ says, "Veritas caelis est, judicati sunt qui veritas aiunt vides, ab eis potestatibus terrae." The translation to that is that truth comes from heaven, he says. And those that speak the truth are judged by those who have power on the earth. And when you consider that, it basically clarifies or makes very clear that truth and the powers of earth are not compatible. They're not compatible. So anybody who speaks the truth, you see how they are judged by those who have power upon the earth. Until next time, stay tuned for the finale of these series, and I will continue on with other interesting facts from that time period. Please subscribe. Thank you so much for listening. Wale.